The Planting Fields Arboretum Report. An ecosystem, or bionetwork, contains the plants and animals of an area, and all the elements that make up their surroundings, like soil, water, and air. There are many types of ecosystems around the globe. They are also known as habitats. There are about 22 different kinds of habitats on Earth, including urban areas and parts of the oceans. Here I have chosen a few examples of some of the major ecosystems found on Earth. Most tropical rainforests are right on the Earth's equator, meaning that it is hot and humid all year long. These sorts of conditions are perfect for plant life to grow in. Being that it's always this kind of weather, these trees and other plants are always in a battle for sunlight. While some trees have evolved to form huge trunks to reach the sunlight, other smaller species adapt to live partially in the shade. Others have evolved huge leaves to get as much sunlight as possible, thus creating the different layers of the forest where many species of animals live in. These layers, listed in order from top to bottom, are called the emergent, the canopy, the understory, and the forest floor, where only 2% of the sunlight reaches the ground. At the Planting Fields Arboretum, there is this huge greenhouse that has an entire jungle inside it, where you can see many different forest layers and many plant species that have adapted to live in the rainforest. The deserts are usually found above and below the tropical regions of the world. Very few plants can survive in this region because the total amount of rain the desert usually gets is about a half an inch every year. Specially adapted plants like cacti and other succulents are successful at surviving in the arid conditions of the dry desert. Due to the lack of rain, these plants are specially designed to store water for long periods of time. They have evolved sharp and prickly thorns in order to protect itself and the water that is stored inside it from desert animals that would want to eat it. The temperate forest, also known as the deciduous forest, is found where we live, here in eastern North America. It is also found in parts of California, most of Europe, and East Asia. This sort of forest is widely known for its dramatic change during the 4 seasons of the year. During the winter, trees are bare and dormant, and wildlife is nowhere to be seen. Then, as soon as spring sets in, trees start budding and leaves form once again. Wildlife seems to have exploded out of nowhere, and the forest teems with life everywhere. When fall arrives, the trees shed their leaves and become dormant once again for the winter. This kind of ecosystem probably undergoes the fastest yearly seasonal change out of any other kind of habitat on Earth. At the Arboretum, much of the outside is deciduous forest with many mixed species of oaks, firs, pines, cypresses, maples, and much more. One species of tree that is found in the deciduous forest and also found at the Arboretum is the white pine. The white pine is a species of evergreen that has an average height of 50 to 80 feet, with its branches spanning to about 50 feet across, with its needles spread out into huge flat fans to catch the sunlight more easily. Its lifespan normally reaches about 200 years of age. Some other individuals can possibly reach 450 years if it's healthy enough to live that long. This tree was used back in the 1800s for logging and was harvested heavily for its lumber. Today, the white pine is mostly used as a landscape tree because of its delightful appearance and fast growth. The tree begins to grow pine cones at 5 years old, therefore it is a gymnosperm. Botanical gardens are different from natural preserves because botanical gardens have many different species of plants found around the world. Some are planted out in the open where they can tolerate our climate, while some of the more tropical plants are kept in greenhouses. Natural preserves are pieces of undeveloped, uninhabited land where many native plants and trees grow. A native plant is a species that grows on its original land of where it was first found. An invasive plant is a species that takes over other environments. For example, the purple loosestrife is very invasive to the wetlands of America because it can produce over 2 million seeds a year, which causes it to rapidly reproduce. Also because local wildlife will not eat it. It's even more of a problem for the ecosystem. Another example of an invasive species is the Kudzu Vine, also known as the mile-a-minute vine. This species has become so invasive to the south of the United States that it has literally swallowed up everything in its path by climbing all over it in an extremely fast amount of time. Being very tough against cool weather, the vine can grow a foot a day and cover over 150,000 acres yearly.
Holy Jesus!
Besides being native or invasive, plants also have economic value to us. A few examples of some of these are the plants that can grow food, like herbs, fruits, and vegetables. The banana tree, the coffee bean, and the orange tree is all found in the tropical rainforest. We see these fruits all the time at the grocery store. There are also many more different plants that grow many of the fruits and other ingredients that we use all the time. Most of these species are found only in the rainforest, and yet we continue to destroy acres and acres of it every day. We need to be more cautious of how we treat our environment, for it is very beautiful but at the same time very fragile. One slight change in its natural course can throw all ecosystems off balance, and life would cease to exist the way it exists now. What I've learned from visiting the planting fields Arboretum is that many of the things we use, eat, and build within our everyday lives come from plants. I've also learned that ferns used to be taller than us back in the Jurassic period, and also how plants with flowers are known as angiosperms, and plants without flowers, like the white pine, are gymnosperms. I really like the tropical rainforest inside the greenhouse. In the end, it was a very fun experience, and I hope to go there again soon.
Holy Jesus!